Yeah, hi guys. Sorry if you were just on my last live video. I had a bit of a technical problem. Yeah, I just want to let you know that Roger Federer, his 2020 season is over. So what do you guys think about that? Um, he said that he needs another surgery, so he's going to end his year from now. Here's what I think about Federer ending his year uh, due to his claiming he's doing another surgery. I think when it comes to his chances to winning Grand Slams, he believes Wimbledon he's got the best chance and the Australian Open the second best chance. He hasn't won the US Open since 2008 and the French Open since 2009. So when it's more than 10 years and he's turning 39 this year, I don't think he wants to just push his body for a whole year or the second half of a year when he doesn't have a chance anyway. I think what Federer wants to do is saying, okay, Wimbledon and the Australian Open, they won't be played the rest of the year. So I'll just make it a whole year off and I'll refresh my body and then I'll be completely fresh. And then, so when we start 2021, then we've got the Grand Slams. I have a chance, and I'm playing them more fresh after a whole year off, and it could extend his career long term. Maybe he can play 2022. Who knows how long? But I think he thinks like that whole grind, 10, 11 months every year to have a year off that break, not right away when he comes back, but I believe longer term, Federer believes he will be helped by he'll be helped by a year break, maybe after he's back for 6 months. So he's saying, why grind my body out at this age playing when I can't win? Really, because I haven't won for 11 and sort of 12 years at the US Open and the French Open, and I'm just in it for the Grand Slams. So next year he'll be more fresh and he'll have the Australian Open and Wimbledon, the ones that he feels he has a better chance, and it'll extend sort of if he wants to play beyond 2021, it'll be fresher. He'll be fresher sort of to play longer. And I think that makes sense. Why grind yourself out a year trying to win Grand Slams you haven't won for over 10 years when you're basically 39? They would have come back in August at the earliest, so everything will be on 39. Makes no sense. It makes sense to have a year's break from this 11, 10 month a year grind and see if he'll be fresher to play sort of longer term after the break. But in the shorter term, it's going to be where, it, once you've got fitness and you're playing all the time, of course, it's harder to play as you get older, but it's easier to keep fitness and play longer and later in your career once you've got it. But to be out for a year and a long term, to try to work so hard to regain fitness when you don't have it. Like last time he was out 6 months, the end of 2016, he won straight away. But remember, that's like 4 years younger, which going from mid-30s to sort of almost 40, it's quite a big difference. So this is six. Firstly, this is a year. He played last at the Australian Open. He'll be playing the Australian Open preparation a year later, so a full year, double the time, and then he's like 4 years older. So I think when you're 40 and you're trying to regain fitness from not being playing a year, even when you're young, to get back your fitness after not having it for a year is tough. But to try to start from zero and get fit and match fitness you haven't had in a year at that age, at 40, it's very hard. Like I said, it's hard if you're playing all the time and you have the match fitness at 40, but at least you have it. But to start from zero and have no fitness and work yourself to full fitness and compete with guys that are in their 20s, it's going to be very hard for him to get back his fitness to the full level and to have any chance because he's just in there for the Grand Slam. So to get his fitness to compete in the best of 5 sets. So I don't know if it's a mistake or a good thing. I do believe he didn't have a chance at the US Open or the French Open, and I do understand why grind your body out at this age when the next Grand Slams you'll have a chance in next year. But it's just the whole thing about losing your fitness for an entire year and trying to work to get that fitness from zero back to a peak fitness when you're 40. I think it's better to have it than not. So there's two sort of sides to this, but he's right when he's thinking he doesn't have a chance, so why not rest his body? The other thing, he's made comments like, I don't want to play without fans, and the tour should wait longer to come back. And I think he was thinking, well, um, there won't be a chance to have fans until the Australian Open in next January. So if you wait till you can have fans, it really means 2021. And I think he was hoping that they would do that. They would say they probably won't get fans this year. And the next chance is January 2021 when he wants to play anyway. And like once Wimbledon was over, his year was over, he would play Wimbledon without fans. But tactically, once Wimbledon was over, the Australian Open was played. Um, Federer felt I've got almost zero chance of winning a slam this year, so I just want to save my body and have it a year to refresh myself. So from that perspective, what he wanted to do is say it's about the fans. Like I need to play with fans because he knew that the best chance to play again with fans is the Australian Open 2021. And then when he's talking about getting surgery, I believe he is getting surgery. I don't think that he's lying about that. But what he thought was, if Wimbledon was on, he wouldn't get another surgery. I think he's got his surgery. He's okay. He would be ready to go. But his doctors probably said, you don't need anything more, but there's this extra surgery that may prolong your career and may help you sort of down the track 2-3 years if you want to play. So if you can take off the year, this could help. And then Federer's feeling was, considering he felt like he wasn't going to win a Grand Slam this year anyway, even though it's something he doesn't really need and he's had his surgery and he would be ready to go, why not do something that has a chance to extend your career when all you're sacrificing is the US Open and the French Open, trying to win things you haven't won for more than 10 years at 39. So I think like the resting of the body, getting a surgery you may not really need but could help him long term. And I just think it's a tactical thing. And what he said about not playing in front of fans, like I said, as soon as Wimbledon was over, that was the end of Federer's year. He spoke about getting surgery in February and being ready to play at the start of the grass season and it being all about that. And I think he felt like the only Grand Slam recently he was close was last year. And he almost won. He was serving for Wimbledon at 40-15. And I think he feels, well, it's just a year. And he's just right there. So his year's really about Wimbledon for me. And then I think he has an outside chance at the Australian Open. But the US Open and the clay at Roland Garros, he knows it's not really realistic for him. So, why not take the opportunity to rest the body? And if you can use that extra time to do another surgery that even if you don't really need it, it could help you long term, then you want to explore that. So I think this is a tactical thing about Federer. It's about conceding defeat at the French and the US Open. And it's about, since you've conceded defeat, use it as an opportunity to rest your body. And if there's any extra surgeries that'll help you long term and also a whole year out, the grind of 11 months a year of tennis, I think that's another thing that he thinks also could help him long term. And his statement about the fans was something to say like, realistically, if they're going to play the rest of the year, it's going to be with no fans or limited fans. The best chance to play in a full stadium is the Australian Open 2021. So his feeling was like, if the playing the rest of the year doesn't benefit me, then just cancel the year, because that's Federer's sort of perspective. And then he's right. The best chance to have a full stadium is the Australian Open 2021, and then he just starts a full year of all 4 Grand Slams after a year of rest. So that's the way I see it with Federer. I don't think it's about the fans for him, and I think it's tactical. I think it's taking advantage of the fact that he really desperately wanted Wimbledon this year, but if it can't be on and the Australian Open is over, then there's no real point for him. And considering now it's this long-term thing, he won't play till Wimbledon. He's focusing on Wimbledon 2021. So he's saying to himself, if it's such a long-term thing and I have to wait so long to have a chance, I'll rest my body for a year. And because my body's rested for a year, then for this whole long-term thing about Wimbledon 2021 and playing into 2022, this year of a rest and an extra surgery he doesn't really need, which could help him long-term, it's about gaining those advantages. Because, like I said, he would have rather played Wimbledon this year, and then he knew if he didn't, like, I'm going to be almost 40 by the next Wimbledon, so my chances are very low to win that. But considering he's now going to have to try to win a Grand Slam near 40 and older, and he's going to have to play till a lot later in his career than he fought. So the only chance to sort of have a realistic chance of doing that is a full year off and being completely fresh and being in it for the long term, and saying, why bother playing when I'm not going to win in the US Open and the French? And the chances are very low. I think that's what it's all about. It's not about the full stadiums. It's about Federer knowing that the best chance of a full stadium is next year. And if he's not going to play, and if he's better to rest his body and think a long term because he can't win at the French or the US Open, why let he's still in it mostly for the Grand Slams. He wants to get the most Grand Slams. Why let Djokovic and Nadal have a shot at the French Open and the US Open, especially Nadal? Nadal could easily win the French Open this year and then next year before Wimbledon. So by the time we get to the French Open, the Wimbledon next year, even though Federer at 40 will have a low chance a month before his 40th birthday, I think Federer will be thinking he'll be thinking about that like, well, Nadal could have more Grand Slams. He could have won 2 French Opens by then. The one this year in September, October, and next year in May and June. And then Djokovic also has opportunities to, the US Open this year, even though he says he may not play. Then the Australian Open next year and some of the French Opens. He's the second favourite or third up there. So for Federer, it's like better to rest till next year and be in it for long term. And if he's not going to be in it, not let his rivals have a chance. And because that's what he wants to do, because he can't play and he's not going to be involved and he's not going to win, it's so much better that if Nadal and Djokovic also don't have a chance to win while he's out. Because, like I said, it's so close. 20 Grand Slams for Federer, 19 for Nadal, and 17 for Djokovic. And them playing in these 2 Grand Slams could, like I said, he could even be surpassed by Wimbledon next year. Nadal could have 21 possibly, if he wins something else like the US Open this year, the Australian, he could even be 22. So really, it suits Federer to just cancel the whole year. That's why he spoke about not wanting to play in unless there's fans, because really they probably won't play in a full stadium till Australian Open next year, and Federer will be back. But my opinion on the Grand Slam race between Federer and Nadal and Djokovic is Federer really lost his opportunity, because he could be in a situation where Djokovic has 16 Grand Slams, he has 21, and for Djokovic, he's going to be in a position where, like 16 to 21, that's 5 Grand Slam differential. So how would Djokovic catch him? Because he's going to be 33. He's also going to have to build his fitness at 33 to come back. Sure, he can win some Grand Slams, but at 16 for him, 21 for Federer. You need 5 to tie and 6 to beat him, and that's on the basis Federer won't win another Grand Slam, which he probably won't. But what if he sneaks one more in? Then it's going to be even harder. But now Djokovic has 17, and he is 20, and Djokovic could have 2 shots or 2 more this year, and then the Australian Open next year. And Federer will be coming from a year out, so he won't have a shot at the Australian Open next year. Not till Wimbledon next year, where he'll be back for 6 months and build back his fitness. So it really makes no sense for them to play the rest of the year for Federer. As far as Nadal catching him, like I said, Nadal could win the French Open this year in October, next year in June, and be up to 21 before Wimbledon next year. So if Federer had won, he would be also at 21, and he could maybe win that Wimbledon, move ahead at 22. And if they don't play the French Open this year, then Nadal could be at 20, and then he could be at 21 and move forward to 22. And Nadal may get injured, he may age faster. He's played a lot of tennis, so you never know. But now just one Grand Slam, thinking that Federer won't win again. One French Open, he's tied. 2, he's ahead. Then if he wins another, it's completely over. So I really think Federer serving at 40-15 for that match at Wimbledon last year, 2019. He lost his chance to win the Grand Slam race, or at least be tied with these guys, because, like I said, he would have had a 5 lead over Djokovic and at least a 2 lead over Nadal right now. So he's really going to pay for that. And then to think that Nadal will never win French Open again and move from 19 to 20, and it's really unlikely he won't get 2 more. And then Djokovic needing 3 more compared to 5 and 6 to tie. So I really think if Federer won Wimbledon last year, he'd have a 50% chance, 40 to 50%, depending on what these other guys and how long they can be good for. But now he's really got almost no chance unless freak injuries hit Nadal and Djokovic to win the Grand Slam race. So serving 40-15 for that match on grass, it's hard to break. 40-15, you should even hold on clay, but he'll really rue that, and he'll go from a 50% chance of winning that Grand Slam race down to about a 5% chance now over that. So that's huge, especially because like Djokovic also won one, so it's a difference between a 5 and a 3 gap, and a 1 and a 2 gap versus Nadal. So that's what I want to think. It's not about Federer, the fans. It's not about anything else. It's all tactical. It's all the fact that, like, why run down your body at that age, and save yourself for next year and have a shot at the Australian Open and Wimbledon. And since you're going to do that, you're better off cancelling the year and not letting Djokovic or Nadal have a chance, especially considering Nadal won the US Open and the French last year, and particularly not wanting Nadal to have a shot at the French Open when he's at 19 Grand Slams and Federer's at 20. Nadal could get him right now by only winning the French Open. So I think that's what I think about all of this. And they're having talks at the French Open, the US Open, to try to get it on. So I think once Federer realised the French Open are confident in having it on, the US Open, they're really trying hard. So he thought there is going to be a year, so I better just let everybody know my season's over. And I pointed out all the reasons for this, the implication in the Grand Slam race, and I'm going to make more future videos. I'm trying to get an interview with Federer himself so we could talk about this coming up in the next week or 2. I think he wants to get over his surgery and have a bit of time, but we're sort of aiming for 10 to 14 days. My interview with Federer over Zoom or Skype type of thing. I won't be with him in person. And then I want to talk about when the ATP Tour is coming back and all the plans about what they're doing with the US Open, and they're really trying hard to make it happen. That'll be my next video. I've done one about the GOAT debate. That was my other and many others. So could you subscribe to my channel and the thumbs up and hit the bell and the notifications and all of that? And stay tuned for my next video and check out my previous video. Have a great day and a night, and I'll see you soon.